This is a picture that has my mother, father, and 4 sisters on it. I'm from a family of 5 girls, no brothers, but this picture was taken at the time that we gave my great-grandfather's home that I grew up in at 1318 Andrews to the city of Houston to have in Heritage Park. It was the first 2-story building that was built by people of color in the city of Houston. And it's now in Sam Houston Park, and it was also put on the UNESCO list. This picture was taken at the time that the house was first given to the park for the city. We have been talking today about Freedmanstown, and Freedmanstown at one time was a part of where we are today at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church before the Highway 45 came into being, and then it split it up from Freedmanstown, from the rest of Freedmanstown, and other entrepreneurs and developers bought up everything else that was a part of Freedmanstown on this side of the highway, except for Antioch. And so everything else became a part of what's now downtown Houston, even though at one time it was all a part of Freedmanstown. There was a library, there was a high school, there were businesses, and there was a large building that had offices in it for entrepreneurs, doctors, lawyers, other professionals, a ballroom. It had many different components to it, and it was called the Pilgrim's Temple. But all of this was a part of Freedmanstown, and next to the church was the Yates Printing Shop company. When I was a child, this whole area was different than it is today, because it's now all a part of downtown Houston. We're at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church, and this has always been a part of Freedmanstown, and it's always been a part of my life also, in that my great-grandfather and parts of his family founded and developed this church. It's now 156 years old, but it really began over on the Buffalo Bayou in what was called a brush arbor. And then it moved from Buffalo Bayou to the part of town where one of City Hall's buildings is today on Bagby and Russ Street. And then it moved to this location in 1878, I think it was, 1879. Then it moved to this location, and it's been at this location ever since that time. But Freedmanstown was developed by people who were formerly enslaved individuals. And as most people are aware, in Texas, slaves were not freed until Juneteenth, 2 years after they were freed in the northern part of the United States. In the eastern part, there were other parts of the South in Louisiana, Texas, and Southwest where they weren't freed until Juneteenth. And so that's a pretty big holiday in this area because it's a holiday of freedom. But Freedmanstown was developed by people who came out of slavery. And once they started to develop their own, because if you think about it, when they came out of slavery, they really had, most of them had nothing but the clothes off of their backs. Because if they stayed on the plantation or the farm or the ranch or whatever you want to call it, then they had to continue to work as slaves and not get paid for their labor. So most of them naturally wanted to be freed, and they wanted to be able to build their own institutions, which they did. And so here at the Antioch Church, most of the institutions for the farmers, slaves at that time, came out of this church, whether it was education, whether it was understanding how to do certain type of skills and build your business. Everything started in the church, and so the church has always played a very important role within our community. And so as time went on, the area which became known as Freedmanstown, the people who lived there, especially the former slaves, they had been taught through the teachings of Reverend Jack Yates how to buy their own property, how to build their own homes, and how to build their community. And so there were schools for the children, and there were schools at night for the adults, so that everybody had an opportunity to learn, and not only to learn, but also to learn how to be productive and how to be able to build their own community. So it was a real self-sustaining community that had just about everything in it that was needed. And so Antioch has always played a very important role in the city and the development of the city of Houston. For Houston had only been a city about 30 years at the time that the newly freed slaves came into the area and started building their own community. But the church has always been extremely important, and even once other areas of town opened up to people of color, even though the parts of Freedmanstown that were taken away and utilized for other purposes, once the freeway came through, even though the freeway took away a lot of the land, took away schools, they shut down most of the schools in the area at that time, including the Gregory School. I had the opportunity to attend the Gregory School as a child. I attended Booker T. Washington, and at the time I attended Booker T. Washington, it was a junior and a senior high school. So all of the schools I attended prior to college were right here in Freedmanstown. Once the schools were shut down, then it became pretty easy to get people to move out because they had nowhere for their children to go to school. So whereas it was let's say a community of maybe about 20 or more thousand people before the freeway came through, it probably whittled down to about 4,000 or 5,000 people before the city was willing to start trying to rehabilitate the area and starting to do some building within the area. And so in the 1990s, the city started trying to redevelop the area. And since that time, there's been constant redevelopment going on in the area. The area that was on this side of the highway was constantly in being developed through the years, but the area on the other side of the highway was neglected for many years, and there was no development going on until in the 1990s. So the Freedmanstown, or the Fourth Ward, which area you want to call it, again, it has played a vital role in the development of the city of Houston. And I have lived long enough to see most of the changes that came about that divided the community, that did not continue to provide the normal things for the community that tax-paying citizens would get, back to now where the redevelopment started. And I've had the opportunity to work with all of those things, and now to see it, that it's kind of a bustling little community again. There are people living there, and they are working towards making sure they have a community the kind that they want it to be.